The member for Lekai.
This down? Madam Speaker, we listened. The guys are crazy, you know. We listened all day to the leader of the opposition rail up. Yes.
May I just ask that we be careful with the language? We've actually made it through practically most of the proceedings here. Let's continue. I think we were on a good track.
Speaker, these folks are troubled. We listened all day to the member from Calais complain about the illustrations, the stories, the facts, the revelations we made today about all that went wrong in their government, freshly went wrong in their government, and over the last 13 years. Because he doesn't want us to talk about those. But now the member from Corazon North is going to bring up something from about 15 or 20, or I don't know how long ago. But they don't want to talk about what just happened. There's a fundamental difference between that side and this side, and I'll give you an example. Way back in 2008, when elections were coming, and it looked as if though the PUP would lose. In fact, the PUP went on to get murdered. There were 5 or 6 of us over there. There was 70 acres of government land in Lake Independence. 70 acres. I was being hounded by all manner of people to subdivide that land and issue to private developers. But you know what I said? I said, listen, it's the last of the government land in the city. Let's not do that. Let's leave these lands to be subdivided, to be distributed as a result of careful planning, careful land use planning. Even though I knew we had a very good chance of losing, I resisted the temptation to do anything with those lands because we didn't have enough time to get it done. And the way how the democracy works is that when there are elections and a new government comes in, then they are responsible for taking care of the states and the people's resources. And these are lands in Lake Independence, of which I was the area representative from many years before. You are talking about lands that the government of Belize paid for in the Freetown constituency that you were trying to hold in trust for the Calais residents. Something wrong with that, you don't see that? And because elections were coming and you couldn't issue those as you would like, you decided to put it in the hands of a crony for a pittance. That's $6 million with the pay for the land, you know. $6,067,000 plus interest. So if the land was sold for 26 or 33 or 58 or 100, it's a giveaway. And there's no guarantee that once the election passes and this man has possession of this land, that he will do what you intend for him to do. So the best thing would have been to leave that alone. Let the masses decide what they want to do. And the masses of the people chose us. And so now we have a responsibility to correct that. That's why I said, make the man coffee money and behave himself. And we'll make sure that single mothers and first-time landowners get the land. That is our responsibility. That's our mandate. You must know that I don't take any special joy in making it a little difficult for people to pay their purchase prices. And you are right. The vast majority of those persons voted for us. But the truth of the matter is that a lot of your people who got land in the run-up to the election weren't just first-time landowners. You were innovative, conniving personalities, getting lands for all, getting lands all over the country for a little bit of nothing. I have in my possession right here. Purchase approval will get issued November 9th, you know, 2 days before elections. That cannot be right. You were not even in Belmopan. Purchase approval issued to Kaina Corp Limited, recommended by Mr. Rene Montero, in Mountain Pine Ridge. 3 different parcels that total over 100 acres for less than $500 an acre in Mountain Pine Ridge, you know, 2 days before elections. This is why we had to issue the SI, to stop this kind of behavior, to not give legality to this illegality. It's not to make it difficult for first-time landowners. I was disappointed in the member from Alberts today, because this morning she and I spoke before she got up in the house and talked all kind of things. She said she has people who are first-time landowners who can't process this stuff. I said, just bring it for me and I'll get it. I'll get the account open and process it. And if for any reasons the time for which the people can pay, the 3 months have exhausted, has passed, we'll fix it. Because I'm not trying to make it harder for them, but it's about trying to protect the people's interests too. Remember, private persons can continue to pay online, but when it comes to national lands, it was to make sure that we can check what's happening, so that people who got Mountain Pine Ridge land for a little bit or nothing 2 days before elections cannot pay. They should not be allowed to pay. But it seems that our instructions to the land officers on the front line probably not clear enough, because we said to them, if the people are first-time landowners, push it through. If it's a house lot, push it through. Open their account and accept their payment. So we'll go back and we'll make it absolutely clear to them what is the criteria. But we didn't want to do this. This is a last resort. But all the chicanery that took place in the run-up to elections forced us to make this choice. Forced us to try to protect what little is left to protect. If we did nothing, all of these persons who got these purchase approvals days before election in Placencia and San Pedro and Mountain Pine Ridge and Coastal Road and Hopkins and all over the place, they were hurriedly paying online to trick us, to make it legal. So that's what we had to try to stop. So it's not out of bad mind or any kind of political mischief. No, man, we don't operate like that, B. That's why we there want to do over there, man. Real talk.
Honorable, I recognize Honorable Member for Danverdale.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Please allow me in the first instance to join my colleagues in congratulating you as our new Speaker. And at the same time, I would like to, with a lot of joy in my heart, to thank our Prime Minister that we have a gentleman of class who has now taken over the position of Sergeant at Arms. It's a symbol of the kind of leadership that we on this side, Madam Speaker, will be delivering to our people, a standard that they expect, a quality of discussion that they demand for this honorable House. Allow me as well, Madam Speaker, right before I want to make one comment of importance with respect to what's happening in my division, to thank the wonderful people of the Dangriga constituency that includes the beautiful villages of Sarawi and Hope Creek. You all would know that if you're passing through that part of the country, you enter a place where you feel at home, and the people there are just warm and loving, hardworking people. I want to thank them for giving us overwhelming support. And I am humbled and honored to be representing them and pledge to do my very best to serve them. But we've heard, Madam Speaker, today from our colleagues, from my colleagues on this side. And it's, I'm sure, very painful for our people to be listening to the information that's being shared with them, that while they had an idea that we would be meeting a situation that's very difficult, that they could not actually believe that it was this bad. The date of the 9th of November will be going down in history because the public will be, as we heard just now from my colleague from Lake Independence, that it seems that on that day there was a big rush to sign contracts right before election. And we have uncovered, Madam Speaker, that a treasure for the people of the Dangriga constituency, the Commerce Bight Port, that indeed there was a contract signed, a lease signed on the 9th of November, giving a 25-year lease to an entity called Recological Systems Limited to import natural gas. And we wonder why such a contract had to have been signed 2 days before elections. Anyway, it is something that Cabinet and our Attorney General will be looking at very carefully, because we are very concerned that this thing being done in this manner raises many red flags, no pun intended, that give us cause for much concern about whether or not, in fact, as we would say, that this was all about a dead race. But I'll say no more about that, except to tell our good people in the Dangriga constituency that we'll be working very hard to deliver on our commitments to them, to deliver in our case what we called the Sustainable Human Development Accord for the development of the constituency of Dangriga. And we are working very closely here on this side as a team. We're very happy to hear that the Minister of Lands will be in Dangriga shortly. And we know that across the country, but I know especially in Dangriga, Madam Speaker, that we have great need for land, for employment, for education, that our people have suffered tremendously over the past 12 and a half years. And we are going to work to deliver to them the things that we pledged to deliver to them. So thank you, Madam Speaker, for the opportunity to make these remarks. And we look forward to working together to make Belize a better place, to bring us out of this huge weight that we've had placed on us, pressed upon us, on the families and the people, the children of this country, who were hopeless and who finally got an opportunity on November 11th to make a statement on where they want to go. I'll close with that, Madam Speaker. Thank you.
I recognize the member for Albert.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I promise to be very brief. It is clear, Madam Speaker, that our new government administration made a commitment and was given a mandate for good governance. And the motion was passed today to ensure that the government maintains its commitment to the Belizean people. But I don't think we can cherry pick, Madam Speaker, when we're dealing with that issue. And the issue of nepotism is of real concern to the people of Belize. I can recall, Madam Speaker, that when the government was the opposition, they made vociferous arguments about the corrupt, and in the words of the member from Caribbean Shores, that nepotism was not only corrupt, it was absolutely corrupt. And oftentimes, even if there was a whiff, or when there was a whiff of nepotistic appointments under the UDP administration, they came to this house, Madam Speaker, and they berated the professionals who were appointed to particular positions. The member from Cayo South, Madam Speaker, was also very vociferous in his arguments against nepotism. But I heard him when he was pressed by a member of the media house early this week, and he seemed to have had a change of heart, a change of outlook as it relates to this quote-unquote corrupt practice. He spoke about layers of nepotism, acceptable parameters for nepotism. He declared that there were just a very small talent pool of professionals from which these appointments could be made. He further articulated, Madam Speaker, that it's not illegal in Belize. There is nothing on our law books in how we treat it, how we address it, how we define it. And I have to agree with him. But if we are going to move forward on this good governance mandate, then we can't have our cake and eat it too. And so I would like to call on the Prime Minister, I would like to call on the Attorney General, I would like to call on the members of the new government administration to move post-haste, Madam Speaker, in drafting and enacting anti-nepotism legislation for Belize, so we can put this issue to bed and that we can have clear rules on how we're going to engage in the future. Because I have to agree with the member from Caribbean Shores. The Director of Health Services served under a UDP administration, is a professional, works hard. Those things are absolutely true. But so was the brother of the former Prime Minister of the country. He was a consummate professional, worked hard, served under both government administrations. So we can't, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. And I recall, Madam Speaker, our partners in civil society, they were very loud in their call for UNCAC, so that we can deal with anti-corruption practices. The Chamber, the Council of Churches, the NGOs, they were all very much on that bandwagon. And we had to take steps. We moved to enact UNCAC in Belize, and we had to follow the dictates of that convention. We have made a lot of progress. There is work to be done. And I believe that this call not only to the members, the other side of the House, but also to the social partners. The silence of them, Madam Speaker, has been deafening on this issue. And so I would like to call on the government and our social partners for us to move post haste in this regard. I thank you.
I recognize the Prime Minister.
From Albert, who from what I gather is that in effect she's supporting our good governance agenda, and she would want to work with us on this along with the other social partners. But it is ironic that she was elected in 2015, it was the first time. And that's when I was the one that challenged the then Prime Minister to sign on to the United Nations Convention Against Corruption. And so I said it at the budget debate, and then when we had some crisis, so I decided that sign on to it. And then after that, I just talk and talk and talk, and 5 years later, there's nothing. We want to build on the work that the committee has started, and of course, we will put what we believe that is the best and most practical way that it can work. So I want to assure you, honorable member from Albert, that there's no hidden agenda. It is here, and we're going to start to work on it and work on the legislation and the consultation that we need to do. But I could assure you that there's not going to be 5 years of consultations. But we do need to bring in the social partners and come with something that can work for Belize. But to live up to the general principles, that's what we want to do, or the issue of transparency, accountability, and to eliminate as much as we possibly can corrupt practices in government. So again, thank you very much, member from Albert.
I recognize the member from Belize Rural North.
I rise to speak on a matter of public importance. In Belize Rural North, upon taking office, I was faced with not only the unemployment created by the pandemic, but with a serious flooding conditions that hit about 8 of the 24 villages in rural North. Rancho, Lemonal, Sand Hill, Mascal, just to name a few. People had to be placed in shelters, houses and appliances were damaged, crops and animals were lost, roads seriously damaged. Madam Speaker, we are still in the process of assisting people with house appliances, food supplies, and fixing roads. Tonight, I want to publicly thank the Ministry of Agriculture, Ministry of Works, and NEMO for their continuous support. And Madam Speaker, please allow me just to say a few words to the people of my constituents. I must say to them, thank you, thank you, thank you. It was an amazing journey campaigning for 26 long months after being endorsed as the standard bearer in Belize Rural North, hopping across 24 villages and facing an opponent that many believed was unbeatable. Because of you, BRN, I am here. You went to the polls on November 11th and said very clearly that character matters. Issues and ideals matter. Jobs matter. Healthcare and education matter. Portable drinking water and infrastructure matter. Belize Rural North, it all matters. And I want to say from the bottom of my heart, thank you. I appreciate you for opening your homes and businesses, your schools and churches, your minds and your hearts, and believing the myriad of possibilities of all we can accomplish together. Thank you for giving me the chance to serve you. I assure you all that I am determined to make a difference for all of you, and will do everything in my power to deliver the goods and services of our Belizean government. God bless Belize Rural North. God bless our Belizean government. God bless Belize. Thank you.
I recognize Member for Mesopotamia.
Madam Speaker, I seek leave to speak on a matter of public concern. I also ask your indulgence to refer to my notes. I want to speak about poverty. You know, we are going through one of the worst times in our country's history due to COVID-19. And unlike the Honorable Prince of Caribbean Shores, I did not grow up with a gold spoon in my mouth. I grew up with my single mother, who had to take me from the canal side where I was living, where we didn't even have toilet, to Brooklyn to try to find a better life for us. So when I see the single mothers, the fathers trying to change their lives, trying to feed their families, when I see people who are hardworking professionals but lost their jobs due to COVID-19 and the economic crash, my heart aches for them. And we need to do something. This government needs to act. So I was very disappointed when I stayed back to listen to the member from Belize Rural Central, who is the Minister of Human Development. I was very disappointed that she had absolutely no plan, described no effort on her part to ensure that the safety nets, such as the food assistance program, the unemployment, the COVID unemployment fund, the boost, the pantry, would stay in place to be a safety net for the poor people of this country, and especially those vulnerable people in my constituency, who I thank very much for giving me the opportunity to represent them here in this honorable house. The people of Belize, election time done, they're tired of bluff, they want actions. I commend some of the members on that side, the member from Orange Walk South, even the member from Cayo South. They made reports as to the progress that they were making in their respective ministry. Some of the other ministries did so as well. But human development, that is the most important ministry right now, other than the Ministry of Finance and the Ministry of Lands, which I'm very pleased to hear the Minister of Lands saying that he will not try to deprive the first-time landowners from getting their piece of land. And I agree with him that anyone who is not a first-time owner and may try to get over should not get the land. But Madam Speaker, I think that we need to have action. That is why I was not enthusiastic about the bill for good governance. All of those points that the Prime Minister read into the record, I support in theory. But let's get to it. On November 11th, the Belizean people voted for changes in this country. The time for political rhetoric and political speeches in the House and outside of the House is over. It's time for action. You guys have the power, and I'm telling you, you you guys did such an excellent job, led by the Prime Minister, but I was particularly impressed by the member from Lake Independence, to convince the Belizean people that only the made a change that the country needed. So don't disappoint them. This is not about me, regardless of what the Prince of Caribbean Shores try to tell you. No, I know get where I get by the former Prime Minister. I made my millions of dollars in the United States. You could check the record. I could bring all my contracts in here that amount to tens of millions of dollars that I made on my own, right? So I am not trying to be a career politician. I want what's best for the Belizean people. And if your administration is what's best for the Belizean people, I will be happy for the Belizean people. I think the leader of the opposition will do a far better job. But I would hope that all of these things that you have in your manifesto, you will bring it to be. I am not sitting here that only to fly the plane. Me don't want the plane crash. Because if the plane crash, all of us...
Madam Speaker.
And what's the point of order?
Yeah, Madam Speaker, when you stand up to speak on a matter of either private importance or national importance, whichever word you want to take, you can only speak on one issue. And the honorable member from Mesopotamia is all over the place. I mean, you talk about agriculture, you talk about national investment, you talk about lands, talk about poverty, talk all over the place. So it is important for him to speak on one aspect, and then one of us will be able to answer him. But right now, he is all over the place, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Prime Minister. Member for Mesopotamia, you rose on the public concern of poverty. I ask that we try and keep the discussions within that regard. Thank you.
Poor people are extremely impacted by not having land. So I cannot leave out the importance of land when it comes to people who are impoverished. And the bulk of my comments thus far have been in relation to human development, which deals with poverty and the safety nets that need to be put in place to deal with the impoverished. So I'm not all over the place. The unemployment needs to turn around. We need to find jobs for these people because the people aren't committing crimes. The impoverished people aren't committing crimes because they're criminals. Some people are committing crimes out of desperation. And that is why it's so important that we not have a supplementary budget where it is $14 million for streets where we can't eat, right? The member from Cayo South and the member from the Prince of Caribbean Shores, they were very, very vociferous in condemning the last administration for streets where we can't eat, infrastructure to nowhere, roads leading to nowhere. Yet in the supplementary budget, there's $3 million more for streets where we can't eat than for human development that is dealing with poor people who need food and who need unemployment support. So I would ask the Minister of Finance, the Honorable Prime Minister, member from Orange Walk Central, where is the priority? I will quote the member from Lake Eye who said, you have to prioritize, right? People over bricks, people over building. It has to be about the people, right? The people can't eat streets. You're right, brother Espat. You're right, brother Musa. That's why the people voted you guys in, not to continue failed policies and failed practices of the previous administration. They voted you in to do better. So I'm urging you, in the name of the people across this country and in Mesopotamia who are suffering right now. They're not suffering because they are lazy. They're not suffering because they don't want to work. We're in a crisis. and you, this new administration who these people believed in, it is incumbent on you to deliver for them. And so the budget should never show that more money is going to streets that we can't eat than the human development
respectfully,
for people
Madam Speaker,
that are impoverished, that need to be
order,
fed.
Madam Speaker.
Tamia, there's a point of order.
He is debating the supplementary budget that we just passed. So I just want to bring that into his attention.
Thank you.
I know that he's inexperienced and he just didn't learn. So let me teach him something. We've already passed the supplementary budget, so you can't debate that anymore. We need to talk about something else. I say that with lots of respect, my brother.
Member for Mesopotamia, indeed, a bill that has been passed should not be re-entered for any sort of debate. And also, may I remind all members, when we address members, we address them by their area, honorable member of, honorable member for. We do not address members by any other name.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I am not debating the supplementary, I'm just making the point that more money is being put into streets that we can't eat than the people of this country and the people in Mesopotamia that are desperately in need, the people in Toledo, the people all over this country. And furthermore, I will take a book out of the learned member from Kayo South who said, you say I'm experienced, but my standing order are the people of Mesopotamia. Remember when you said that? I am here to represent them, and that is one of the poorest constituencies. And honorable member from Orange Walk Central, I like you. I consider you a decent man, but you give it $2.50 for Christmas. You run fine money, figure fix by the free zone, road infrastructure, roads that lead to nowhere. But the people for Christmas only got $2.50 in Mesopotamia, and people are poor, people are suffering right now. $2.52.
Mesopotamia, there's another point of order. May I hear the point of order, honorable member?
Madam Speaker, the standing orders are clear. The Prime Minister just alluded to that. He's jumping all over the place. He ought to be speaking on
the point of order.
On one matter of public importance. He's all over the place, man.
Poverty is a humongous subject.
And I just want to remind your uncle about the poverty in Mesopotamia.
My uncle is no longer the minister or representative. I am, and that's why I'm here pointing on these very relevant issues. I yield for you to make your decision. I'm sorry. Excuse me, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, member for Mesopotamia. I will caution again, the matters of public concern have allowed it as per Standing Order 13. All I ask of all members, which is standard parliamentary practice, to stay within the confines of that public concern.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I will wrap up. Again, poverty leads to crime. Crime compromises citizen security. And while I believe the Commissioner of Police has done an excellent job in managing these poverty-ridden communities such as Mesopotamia, I believe the police need more. They need a higher pay. I'm happy to hear that the Minister of Lands, the member from Lake said that he's going to be giving lands to these people. But crime and poverty go hand in hand. So I would ask that instead of investigating, instead of the Minister from Infrastructure instructing the Minister of Home Affairs to investigate the former Minister of Infrastructure, to stop crime, you have to lead by. And there is a fellow who is a member of my constituency who passed away. His name is Farid Ahmad. And he was murdered, and it is alleged that he was murdered by a police officer. And I remember the honorable member from Caribbean Shores was very, very outspoken about that when it happened. And I commended him. See, the thing with me, I don't want to get up here. No, the poverty and crime go hand in hand, Prime Minister, and I'm closing on a final matter of one of my constituents, and that you have to lead by example. So the same way that the member from Kayo South can instruct that they investigate the former minister, I call on the Home Affairs Minister to call for an investigation on that police officer who was named by another police officer for murdering Fareed Ahmad. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. Member for Kayo South.
I wanted to go home, Madam Speaker, but it seems that I have to respond to the honorable member from Mesopotamia. Two things. What was requested of the Minister of Home Affairs is not a triviality. It is something that is important. It is lost resources that the country has to recover. And it's just the tip of the iceberg. What the member from Lekai mentioned today adds to what we are doing. You're talking about politicians using public resources for personal gain. And that is what adds to the problem that you mentioned, which is poverty. So I understand what you're saying. Poverty is a major concern for us in this House of Representatives. So please allow me to help you to try to solve poverty by trying to recuperate the resources that was stolen from the people of Belize. And secondly, we are not building roads to nowhere. We are trying to inject minimal resources into 80% of the roads that will possibly alleviate poverty. You have to understand the sugar roads is extremely important for the agro-productive sector, and if we don't find a minimal budget to be able to deal with that situation, the cane farmers will not be able to deliver their cane, and therefore we will have even more poverty. You have to understand that the situation of our national highways is where it is right now because of the neglect of the Prime Minister of the previous government. The roads have washed away. The contracts that were given were not priority. We mentioned the building in the Leka Independence is not priority. The contracts that were given to one specific contractor in the road network, the contracts that were given to another contractor in the other infrastructure development projects were not priorities. And so I applaud that you're standing up trying to defend a constituency that you say is poor. But that constituency has been under the leadership of your party for maybe over 30, 40 years. So how can you come here trying to justify the poverty that's in the Mesopotamia constituency when the past era representative of the Mesopotamia division was there for donkey's years with all the power in his hands? But I can understand. He's a family member of yours, so I understand that deep in your heart you are ashamed, but you can't say it. But I inherited his ministry that we found had a budget, a yearly budget, that did absolutely nothing. No houses were built in the Mesopotamia division. No infrastructure was done in the Mesopotamia division. No work was done at the ministry. No houses were built. So, come on. on, dude. Sorry. Member from Mesopotamia, my apologies, Madam Speaker. Come better than that. But I appreciate that you want to speak of poverty. And I understand that we have a problem right now where our people are suffering. But a large part of why they're suffering is because of you guys over there. Analyze that when you're driving back to Belize City. When you drop into those holes going to Belize City, analyze why those holes are there and who was responsible to deal with that for 12 years, taking us to a debt of what, Prime Minister? Close to $4 billion? I'm not trying to offend you in any way, my brother, but come better than that, man. Be honest to yourself. Sit with your dad, sit with your uncle, find out what went wrong, and then report back to this house again. I would really appreciate that. Thank you very much.
I recognize the member for Belmopan.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. With your permission, I would like to associate myself with the sentiments expressed by my colleagues and also by members of the other side in congratulating you on your appointment as Speaker. I am sure that under your guidance, we will elevate the debate in this House to reflect a higher level of respect and civility towards each other, and more important, respect for the people of Belize that we represent. Having said that, I also endorse the commitment of our Prime Minister, member for Njawak Central, and our government to move swiftly and decisively to fulfill the goals of our Plan Belize manifesto for the benefit of all our people. I assure you that as an area representative of the good people of Belmopan, I shall do my part to achieve our just objectives. I would like to put on record my sincere thanks to the residents of Belmopan who have put their trust in me by electing me as their representative in this honorable House. I am humbled by their confidence, and I pledge today that I shall not represent those who voted for me, but I shall give the interests and concerns of all my constituents my highest priority. I will always be there for them, those that voted blue, those that voted red, those that voted any color, those who didn't vote, and those who, for any other reason, could not go out to vote. We are all Belizeans and we deserve the best representation. I take my role as area representative very seriously. Belmopan has been neglected for too many years. It is a shame that the capital of our nation is in shambles. The infrastructure is crumbling before our very eyes. Good money wasted on bad streets and roads, but we will fix that. Too many people without jobs and without hope, but our plan for Belmopan is designed to create jobs and give hope to the hopeless, so that our people can live their lives in dignity and with respect. Too many young families who want to build a home but cannot get a piece of land. Many people say there is no land left in Belmopan, but there was land for the greedy, not for the needy. But we will change that. If we have to acquire...
Member for Belmopan, please remember we are on matter of public concern. I have, I believe, given some latitude, but if we can hear the matter of public concern, unless I missed it.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. With your permission, I will continue.
The matter, what is your matter of, you rose on a matter of public concern?
The matter of public concern, Madam Speaker, is the security and prosperity of our people of Belmopan. And I was speaking about young families who do not have the opportunity to get a piece of land and who cannot build their homes. However, with the we will do whatever is necessary to provide land to enable young first-time landowners to build their homes or to start a business. With the cooperation of our police department and community leaders, we shall make Belmopan safe again, and Belmopan will be a shining example to the rest of the nation on how a small integrated capital city can be a symbol of peace, security, and prosperity for all to admire. Madam Speaker, for this to happen, I ask the cooperation of all my colleagues in government. We also need the cooperation and goodwill of an elected Belmopan City Council that shares our dreams, aspirations, and plans. And I will call on the good people of Belmopan to elect such a city council in March, so that together we can undertake the task of rebuilding our capital and re-energizing the good people of Belmopan. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I recognize the Leader of Opposition, Member for Colette.
I've been trying to ensure that I give all of our colleagues an opportunity before I spoke, but the ministers seem to want to continue from this morning, but I'm okay with that. Madam Speaker, I wanted to raise the matter of COVID-19. I know that that is going to be a terribly long position tonight, so I wanted to touch on just two issues, and if you'll allow me just some observations, Madam Speaker, that will be very kind, I can assure you. I will leave it there. I make the appeal. I listened as the Minister of Health and Wellness this morning went to a great extent to try to blame the COVID-19 situation on the past administration. And every time he speaks, Madam Speaker, he tries to make it seem like it is the now opposition, then government, that is to be blamed for COVID. And the first thought that came to my mind, Madam Speaker, was that I could stand here and I could cast that blame. I could say that it was the Prime Minister who encouraged Belizeans to go out who are positive COVID to vote. I could say that it was because of the masses of nomination day and election day and all the parades and what all we had. But that will not be helpful to us, Madam Speaker. And so I make an appeal one more time. I've had this discussion with the Prime Minister privately to say to the Minister of Health, this is not something that we should be playing politics with. Madam Speaker, never before. I think I am in the mid part of the average age that most Belizeans live, or many Belizeans live. I am 42. In the middle there somewhere, we could live to 70 and 80 and so on. But never in my lifetime have I experienced death like we have in this country over the last year or so. And that has got to be something very frightening, and that is one thing. The amount of people who have lost their jobs, who are struggling to eat, who are trying their best to just hang on and to survive is a whole nother story. But yet, we're not uniting in the manner in which we ought to unite, and instead, I still sense that there is the blame game going on. A lot of what the minister points out, because he every chance he gets, he points out that there was no plan, yet every single plan that he comes up with was the UDP's plan. The rapid test, I had a call this morning from Judith Alpucha, the former CEO, and Judith listed to me all the things where the minister listed out that were in the pipeline long ago. So what is the need for us to try to glorify one party's efforts over another party? Why is there the need to, Madam Speaker, say that, oh, it was the last administration who didn't do this, or let us work together? And I've made this appeal several times. I will leave it at that for tonight, Madam Speaker, but there is much more that I would want to say on this topic. And I want to encourage the government, Madam Speaker, and encourage the members on our side as well, to have us work together. This thing is very serious, and it is causing a crippling of this country that we have never seen before. And if you'll allow me, Madam Speaker, as we wrap up today, to honestly and genuinely from the deepest parts of me congratulate you on what I consider to be a job well done on your first day on this job. I'm sure it is not easy, Madam Speaker, and I congratulate as well all of my colleagues, the Prime Minister included, who is leading this House meeting for the first time. I am here as a leader of the opposition for the first time. I watched as many of our colleagues on this side and that side, very nervous and very reminds me of my first time 17, 18 years ago, and the member from Lekai 20-odd years ago. I don't know how long it has been for the Prime Minister, but those of us who have been here and seen members come and go, we understand the kind of nervousness, and it's a tough job being in this House for a number of reasons. But I want to congratulate all of you on a job well done. And I want to reiterate, Madam Speaker, to you and to the Prime Minister, the opposition's full commitment to work on ensuring that we have good governance in this country. You know, the motion on good governance, I heard several of the members on that side say that the leader of the opposition is not for good governance. That's not what I said. In fact, I am all in many of the things that you have in the document. It's very good. I don't want to start the whole quarrel over, Madam Speaker. But the point that I'm making is you can rely on this opposition, all the members on this side, to be here to support what is good, to support you, Madam Speaker, even though there might be the kind of testiness that we had today. I think you will, of course, blossom and do much better than what you did on your first day, which I can only imagine will be then full control of this House. Everybody will be flying right. And I think that is what is needed and long overdue in this honorable House. So again, Madam Speaker, I congratulate you, and I congratulate all my colleagues on both sides of the House, and I wish you well in this year of 2021. Thank you.
Thank you. I recognize member. One second.
Cayo Central.
I'm not seeing it.
Cayo Central.
Cayo Central. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I rise to raise a matter of public concern in my constituency. Before doing that, I join my colleagues in congratulating you on your appointment at this honorable House. I am honored to be a member of this House. Firstly, I thank the Lord for this great opportunity. Secondly, I thank the constituents of Cayo Central for choosing me to be the chosen one to represent their voice in this honorable House. The matter of concern, of public concern in my constituency is, having had the previous air representative as the Minister of Works, the roads and the streets in my constituency are, I am tempted to say, in the worst of conditions. And I am very pleased to hear that our Minister of Infrastructure and our Prime Minister have requested for extra funding so that we can take care of these roads that are in very terrible conditions and in my constituency of Cayo Central. I want to let the people know, the residents and constituents of Cayo Central, that we will work hard along with the ministers in government to better the road conditions so that our farmers can bring out their produce to the markets, and so that their produce can reach the market in the best of state, in a state that their produce can be of quality to our people of our country. So Once again, I would like to say, people, residents of Kyle Central, thank you for choosing me as your representative, and I will ensure that your voice always has an audience in this honorable house. With that said, thank you, Madam Speaker.
Honorable Member for Caribbean Shores had indicated you had. It is a matter of public concern.
Yes, Madam Speaker. I just wanted to inform everybody that is here right now. I know we are past curfew, but I have already consulted with the Commissioner, and he has indicated that the staff members of the National Assembly, the opposition members on this side, drivers, it is not to be construed as a sweetheart pass, but you can get home tonight past curfew. All the checkpoints have been informed, so please drive safely in getting home. I just wanted to inform that, Madam Speaker. Thank you.
The question is that the House do now adjourn. All those in favor, kindly say aye. Those against, kindly say no. I think the ayes have it. The House now stands adjourned.